Chapter 5. A Craned Answers. In empty mountains as the chivalrous hero Startles, the snake monster clouds enshroud the shoe peaks as the filial son pays homage to an immortal master. The story goes that after Zhu Chun heard that person's words, he hurriedly jumped out to look, when suddenly Yan Er's traces could not be seen. His fright was no small matter. At first he thought Yan Er had gone to a nearby place to relieve himself, but after calling out loudly in all directions, there was still no trace to be found. He became so anxious that his whole body was covered in sweat. He dared not easily leave this place, fearing that when Yan Er returned he wouldn't be able to find him. Just as he was at his wit's end, he suddenly heard a faint voice from inside the door saying, "Haven't you left yet?" Shi Chen said after we parted just now. "I had a companion who now doesn't know where he's gone. His clothes and traveling bag are still here minus could it be that the monster you spoke of has eaten him?" That person said that demon belongs to Yim and will come out before the third watch. Your companion's disappearance at this moment is absolutely not caused by this demon. Quickly go to Grandmaster Bayan and ask him to divine for you minus, then you'll know his whereabouts. Don't delay yourself minus, it's getting late, hurry and go. Zhu Chun had no other choice but to follow that person's advice and walk forward. After walking less than 5 li, he suddenly heard a hushing wind behind him and a fishy smell assaulted his nose. Zhu Chun knew something was wrong and immediately rushed forward like flying. Just as he reached the front of a nunnery, the wind suddenly stopped. Zhu Chun looked back and saw a mass of dense fog to reed lanterns faintly appearing, retreating toward the road he came from. And with the moonlight he could see extraordinarily clearly minus he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Looking at this nunnery again, it wasn't very large. In front of the gate stood two withered willows whose shadows worked cast on the ground by the moonlight minus broken shade covered the ground, appearing very quiet and secluded. The sound of Buddhist chanting came continuously from inside the nunnery minus. It seemed the master within was doing evening lessons. He gently knocked twice on the door. A young girl immediately answered, "This is a Buddhist nunnery. If you wish to lodge here, please go to the front." Zhu Chun answered, "I encountered danger on the road and have come especially to see Grandmaster Bayan." Before he'd finished speaking, the door had already opened. Out came a young nun in her prime, only 13 or 14 years old, grown extremely beautiful. Seeing Zhu, she said, "The Grand Master is doing evening lessons minus please wait in the Buddha hall for a while." Zhu Chun followed her inside. After sitting down in the Buddha hall, that young nun brought a bowl of tea and several pieces of vegetarian cake for Zhu Chun to consume, then went inside herself and didn't come out for a long time. Zhu Chun was waiting impatiently when suddenly he saw a green light flash before his eyes, flying like a bird toward the rear courtyard. Zhu Chun's curiosity was strong, so he left the Buddha hall and quietly walked toward the rear courtyard. Just as he approached the window, he suddenly heard two people talking minus they seemed to be a man and woman. He heard the woman say, "Second senior brother comes here late at night minus. What matter brings you to instruct?" That man said, "I just passed by Cloud Spirit Mountain and saw demonic energy soaring to the sky. I was about to investigate thoroughly when I suddenly saw standing under a house eave by the roadside a young boy. He saw that less than 10 jang away from him the danger was imminent. Seeing that the boy had deep foundations, I couldn't bear to let him suffer harm, so I picked him up and first rescued him from danger, then used my sword to drive away the demon. Later, when questioning his background, I learned he was the disciple of Zhu Chun, one of the 3 heroes of Qian Lu. Seeing this child had immortal bones, following a worldly chivalrous hero would only waste his potential, so I took him as my disciple and to carry him back to my mountain. When he left he said he feared his teacher and old mother would worry, so I promised to bring word for him. I went to find that man surnamed Shu, but unexpectedly I also saved 7th junior brother's disciple named Shulin. He too had been poisoned by the demon and was on the verge of death. I saved him and sent him back to the mountain, only then learning that the man surnamed Zhu had come to seek refuge here. Just now when I entered, I saw a person sitting in the Buddha hall minus. I suppose it's him. The woman answered, "Just now Zijao came to say someone surnamed Zhu was seeking refuge with me. I was just about to go out to meet him when senior brother happened to arrive, so I haven't met him yet. That man said again. That demon just now looked extremely formidable. My Zhuan sword only drove him away but couldn't harm him in the slightest. Because I don't know the details, I didn't dare act rashly. You're so close by Minus. How can you tolerate him being so rampant? The woman said, for this demon, I've truly expended infinite effort. With great difficulty I found a thing to subdue him, but unfortunately I lack helpers. Senior brother's arrival is truly perfect. Having said this, she spoke to outside the window. Hiroju has come from afar. Minus, why don't you come into chat instead of just eavesdropping against the wall? Shu-chan was listening entranced when the person inside the room asked this question. He couldn't help but turn red-faced and could only walk inside. He saw sitting on a meditation cushion a Buddhist nun about 40 or 50 years old, and seated at the upper position was a Taoist with a face full of whiskers and eyes shooting out crystal light. Minus clearly an extraordinary person. He couldn't help but bow deeply. The monk and Taoist hurriedly helped him up with their hands, saying they didn't dare accept it. The Buddhist nun had Shu-chan sit to one side and said what we just said. I suppose you've already heard. This is my senior brother, the bearded immortal Li Yuanhua. My name is Yuanjing. Minus people call me Grandmaster Bayan. Your accomplished disciple has already been taken under the tutelage of this bearded senior brother. I wonder if you, hero, can bear to part with him? Zhu-chan said at such a young age, to receive the favor of an elder sword immortal is truly the fortune of 3 lifetimes. Precisely because of his intelligent natural gifts and my own shallow learning feared misleading his future. Now fortunately he's encountered an immortal fate. Minus how could I be unwilling? It's just that on the road just now I encountered a person whose life hangs by a thread. Minus, I hope the 2 great immortals will show mercy and rescue him. The bearded Taoist said that person's name is Shulin. Minus he's my martial nephew. I passed by just now and have already rescued him and sent him back to the mountain. Zhu-chan hurriedly expressed thanks. Grandmaster Bayan said senior brother's arrival is most timely. There's no time to delay. Minus tomorrow morning follow me to slay the demon. The bearded Taoist said, what exactly is this demon that it's so formidable? Grandmaster Bayan said, this mountain wasn't originally called Cloud Spirit Mountain, because a snake demon appeared on the mountain. Morning and night it spits poisonous fog from its mouth that forms into clouds and mist, reflecting the morning glow and evening sun on the mountain peak. It actually became a strange sight of this mountain. People saw this mountain's clouds and mist were brilliant and extremely pleasing to the eye. Minus for over 100 years now. They've called this mountain Cloud Spirit Mountain. At first this demon only spouted clouds and mist on this mountain and didn't harm people. But in the recent 3 years, the situation has greatly changed. From the Chen hour to the Yu hour is when this demon cultivates in its cave. Travelers who pass during this time period still have no problems, but otherwise those who can escape its deadly grasp number less than 1 or 2 in 10. In these 3 years, I fought with it countless times, but haven't harmed it in the slightest. It also knows my power. Minus as soon as it reaches not far from my nunnery, it flees back. Just now I heard the wind and knew that demon was coming. Later there was no movement. Then I heard the hero knocking at the door. Only then did Zhu-chan understand why the demon had suddenly stopped pursuing. Grandmaster Bayan said again, one thing subdues another. I know this demon most fears Centipedus. They'd long heard that Grandmaster Kanexai Eye of Yellow Mountain is such a strange creature. I had Zizhao go borrow it. At first the Grandmaster was unwilling, saying that Centipede was the treasure guarding her cave. Later I went in person. Minus just yesterday I borrowed it. Exactly when you, hero, and senior brother arrived here. Minus, I think the day of that demon's execution is not far off.